Good morning, I am D. Bhuneshwari. I am a second year student from NKT National College. My topic is coefficient correlation, partial correlation, regression, and prediction. First, what is meant by correlation coefficient? It's nothing but in a statistic there are two variables. It can be co-vary from -1 to +1. That is denoted by the symbol R. The R which measures the strength of the line. There are five types of correlation: perfect positive, perfect negative, moderately positive, moderate negative, and absolute no correlation. So in perfect positive correlation, here there are the two variables x and y that have a linear correlation. When r is close to +1, that is a positive term, it is known as a perfect positive correlation. The same thing when r is close to -1, that is when r is close to -1, it is a strong linear correlation. So it is termed as a perfect negative correlation. And moderately correlation is between r 0 to 1 and negative -1 to 1. Absolute no correlation, there is an no correlation point, so it is a weak linear correlation when r is close to 0. And this is the formula for the Pearson correlation. It is calculated. R is equal to summation of n I is equal to 1 xi minus x bar yi minus y bar divided by square root of summation of n I is equal to 1 xi minus x bar the whole square root of summation of I is equal to 1 yi minus y bar the whole square. Whereas in Spearman, rho is equal to 1 minus 6 summation of di square by divided by n into n square minus 1. Next is partial correlation. Partial correlation is an expression for the analysis of the ANCOVA. So this partial correlation is applied to the questions, that is to predict the questions, and also for the relationship between the variables. In this partial correlation between the two variables, it can easily remove the third variable. This is the formula for the partial correlation. R123 equal to R12 minus R13 R23 divided by square root of 1 minus R12 square and square root of 1 minus R23 square. R12, 13, 23, all these are represented as a correlation coefficient of between the variables. What are the variables? 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, like that. And what is a regressive analysis? Regression analysis, this is technique used in the statistical analysis. When two variables are involved, that based on the estimation is called an independent, and when the variable value is estimated is called the dependent variable. This techniques are used for studying the dependence of one variable is called dependent, and one or more variable is called an explanatory variable. This technique used to estimate the relationship between dependent and explanatory, and also it also determine the effect of this variables. And the regression approach for prediction, we can predict this with by giving the specific values. For example, one independent variable to predict the dependent variable. So these both variables at the same point. While we are taking the psychology process, the general procedures, what are the procedure has to be followed. While we are doing the research, we have to know what is the subject, and based on the subject, first we decided what are the steps. So based on the step, we have to collect the data for the relevant variables, and then we can specify, and finally whether the data fits or not. So we can predict with the help of these steps. So this process is more physics approach. So it is also a statistical. In this statistical model, it is a very systematically high or low. So it is a bias process. This is a linear regression prediction plot graph. For example, while predicting the body fat percentage with the help of the BMI, so this body mass index is a very costly. So instead of that, we can use DXA. This measurements also it is used to predict the body fat percentage. So using this, we can measure the height and weight. Then we want to use the BMI to predict the body fat percentage, because DX also having the same thing, but it is a very but DX is not costly. So it is the bias method. So whether it may be in the systematic high or low, so now we can use the DXA also. So we can predict in this process also we can have the good predictions. Thank you.